I'll sit as still as I can. Hi, everybody. It is September 21st, Tuesday, day before our next clubhouse meeting, which I'm excited about, looking forward to. Just talked to Aaron, and we'll be setting it up, and then he'll monitor it to make sure there's no crash and burn again once we get started. And I just made an appointment. I'm going over today to get my eyes checked. For some reason, this prescription, I think, is just a little bit out of date at this point, and I need to get my eyes checked. So I'm going to run over and do that after we finish this. It was fun yesterday visiting the Doors, and just the thing I enjoy the most is one thing to put all these up, but it's another thing to see everybody's comments on stuff that they enjoy, that they're going, oh God, I forgot about that album, or yeah, they were so good. I was worried after Jim died that they wouldn't be any good, but I really love what they did and stuff. And it's great to have moments to follow through with different artists like that. And I've visited some stuff with what I'm going to do today in the past, but I think it's well worth a revisit. It was a pretty amazing time for myself and my compatriots. I'm going to go back to the 1972, I believe we did this, Crosby Nash or Nash Crosby album. It's so funny when I see it as Graham Nash, David Crosby. For some reason, Crosby Nash always rolls off my tongue a whole lot easier than Nash Crosby, but that was how they always talk about it. And sometimes it shows up as Crosby Nash, and I'm getting sidetracked, so forget that. This album was dominated by The Section. This was one of our first big projects as a band after James and Jackson was working with David and Graham, and this was their first album after Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, when they all started doing other projects, and Stephen went off and did Manassas and other things, and Neil went off and did Crazy Horse, and David and Graham went off and became this duo. They've done individual solo things, but this was their first venture out. And it's myself and Russ Kunkel and Danny Korchmar and Craig Durgee are on most all the tracks on this. Sorry. And it was produced by David and Graham and Bill Halverson, and who also engineered the album. And but had some wonderful songs on it, and we had just such a great time in the studio doing this project. Everybody had become really good friends at this point, and it was just kind of another one of these things, like all these projects, James and Jackson and David and Graham and Carol and everybody. It was really like, it was a precursor to the immediate family, because we were all like immediate family. Our relationships transcended the studio. We would see each other socially, just it was a different kind of thing. It wasn't. It was a job, but it wasn't a job in the traditional sense. I mean, we were working when we were in the studio, but our lives together went far beyond the studio. And on this stuff, on all of the stuff these guys did, it was always interesting, because Graham always had sort of this pop sense in his writing, from the Hollies through CSNY and CSN and all that. Sorry. And David is always the more kind of moody, introspective writer. So they complemented each other really well. And it was always a treat to be involved with them on these things. So I thought for right now, I'm just going to go ahead and play a few things from this album, and then talk a little bit, and then get off to get my glasses done. So the first one I'm going to do is "Where Will I Be," which is myself and Craig Durgee and David Crosby and Dana Africa on flute on this. This is kind of quintessential David. So here we go. Where will I be? Oh, come on. Let's start at the beginning.
Where will I be when I go back home? long. What'll I do? Where will I be when I go back home? Who will I see when I'm all alone? You tell me, what am I going to do?
I mean, that is like really quintessential Cross. And the thing that's amazing is like 1972, so it was 50 years ago, and his pipes are still really strong after all this guy has put himself through during the course of his life. That when he opens his mouth now, he still sings great, just sings really amazing. What do we got? Strangers Rooms. This is myself, Russ Kunkel, Danny Korchmar, Craig Durgee. And the horns on this are Arthur Mabey, David Duke, and George Price. So let's check out another one. Suddenly it turns into Graham Nash. Graham is always playing harmonica.
My eyes were full of morning, and my mouth was full of night. I was in a stranger's room, guess I'll sing a different song. Where do I go from here? Help me, I wish I could disappear and go away. From the morning, with my eyes are full of light, I am in a stranger's room, and I still can't find the light. Yeah.
I mean, when you think about the Crosby song before this and the Nash song, now, I mean, it's a pretty wide berth that they occupy musically. But it, and I just gotta always, I don't want to be the old fart thinking about the old days all the time. But there was something just so wonderful being in the studio with all these gifted musicians and just cutting no click track. I mean, we're just, just in a room looking at each other with eye contact and no ISO booths for the most part, not a lot of baffling. There's, if you were really to probably listen to the tape on this at a console and you could pull stuff up, you'd pull up the drums and you'd probably hear some bass leakage in it. And if you pull up bass part, you're going to hear drums. And so, I mean, we were all in it together. And that was really the magic of this period. That was so fantastic. Okay, I'm going to do another one right here. This is called Games. And this, again, is myself, Russ Kunkel, Danny Korchmar, and Craig Durgee, and David Crosby. And this is really Cros in the section. So here we go. Moody Crosby.
Born in the sunshine, dying in the rain, raised on laughter, lost in a game. Love you, love you. The game was being better.
The way Russ orchestrates his drum parts is pretty
Wiser
amazing.
than you, half an inch taller, a deeper shade of blue. For thinking that I loved you more than you love me, failing to lay it on the line all the time, all the time. The games of getting money, the game of getting more,
So much dynamics.
the ego game of power, the ugly game of war kills love. Don't you know that? Born jasmine, dying and batty. Started out honest, wound up down there. Love you, love you.
Yeah. I don't know anybody that plays, when it gets into that kind of brushwork and stuff, better than Russ. I mean, it's not a drum part, it's a percussive orchestral thing that he does. That's just really something amazing, and he does it with just such ease. And when Russ is playing, it's just, he's in that space, and it's beautiful to behold. And Craig's piano playing is just as good as it gets. It was always, when the four of us would get to play, it was always something really special. So I'll do one more here for you. And this is Frozen Smiles. And this one, Graham is on harmonica, on singing, and on harmonica again. And then it's me, Russ, Craig, and Cooch.
So all alone, it'll chill you to the bone. So my advice to you is not to take advice from the dealers who are handing out your cards. Take your life into your own hands. Just have faith in who you are, and all your goodness that I'm forced to disregard, because you make it much too hard.
Yep, and that's quintessential Graham Nash. That's a trip. I love these guys. So that was our first adventure in the studio with Crosby and Nash, and since then we've done so many projects with those guys, and it's always just a real treat to be around them. I know that they've gone through a certain amount of turmoil in the past couple of years, and it saddens me, but that's life. But I stand by the music we created, so that's great. Another thing that was really great was last night was the first Genesis show of their last Domino tour in Birmingham, England. And man, it was great to open up and see a whole bunch of reviews of the show already raving about it, how great it was. And I'm thrilled for the guys. They put a lot of effort into this. Seeing some of the footage, Nick is just killing it on drums. He's gotten so good. He was great on the last tour we did, the Not Dead Yet tour, but boy, he really has consumed the Genesis seat, just playing his ass off on this. But I was thrilled and wrote to Daryl and everything, the guys, and he wrote back and just said, everything went great. And so I'm wishing them a fabulous tour. I think, it's probably the last one. Who knows? You just never know. But it'd be great to see them have this one be like one of the, go out on a high note with everybody just raving about how great it is and everything. So I'm thrilled for the guys. I just talked to Susanna Hoffs, and she's heading into the studio today to start working on doing her vocals on the project that we just finished, which she's going to have to bring in her game because all of her work vocals were really great. So I have no idea what level she's going to go to on the work she's doing now. But we were sitting there going, "Geez, you sound great. I don't know what else you're going to do," because she's one of those people that sits there and just every track we did, she was laying down vocals on them, and just wonderful. She's really great. I really have. I always appreciated her, but I have a real higher appreciation just having spent this time in the studio working on this album with her. She's really quite special. Oh, and it was nice having a little snippet of the pups last night, visiting the next door neighbors. Somebody said they should have a little door. Well, one of the dogs next door, I've talked to them, and they said, can't really be trusted. And he can be a biter at times. So I don't want to subject the boys, but they do have a great time at the fence doing it. And back when Mr. Peabody and Chumley were alive, they used to do that all the time. I actually have a little basset hound statue farther back in the yard in the fence where Chumley would just lay there and the dogs would be on the other side of the fence going berserk, and he would just lay there staring at him and then finally just go, ugh, and just get up and walk away. He did not care. He just taunted them. He just waved that carrot in front of their faces every day. And Peabody was just out running around playing with his toys. He was the most toy-driven dog I think I've ever had. He just loved his toys. So I'm going to get a couple of things done here, and then I'm going to go get my eyes examined. And I'm not going to be yelling at anybody or anything, but I've had some comments saying, that I'm spreading disinformation by telling people to get vaccinated. And if you don't agree with me, that's your prerogative. We live in a democratic society, and it is your right to say I don't believe in it, but don't tell me that I should stop doing this on my page because I'm spreading disinformation. I've asked for correct information, and that never seems to arrive. But I'm a firm believer in vaccines, and there's always going to be that tiny bit of stuff that doesn't go right, because that's the world we live in. Not everything is 100%. So there are going to be a few cases that maybe didn't go as expected. But when you're starting to look at hundreds of millions of doses and a handful of things that didn't work out as expected. Those are odds that are far better than what would happen to you if you got this disease. And I've had many vaccines throughout the course of my life, and I don't regret getting any of them. I feel like I'm a healthier, better person for having had these vaccinations and not put myself in harm's way. So I am going to keep saying, get vaccinated. Let's get this behind us. The arguments I hear against vaccination are, for the most part, incredibly ludicrous, and they don't hold up. I was a science major in school. I'm a firm believer in science. And also you have to understand that when things are being developed, they're going to be changing and modified. It's not like they come up with it and then if you hear they've changed something about it, you go, see, it's not right. These things are constantly evolving as more testing, as more data comes in. But I'm a pretty strong believer in science and not social media for my information. So I'm going to continue saying, get vaccinated. Please get vaccinated. And if you choose not to do it, that's your prerogative. But if you do get sick, I really hate the idea of you going to the hospital and taking up a bed of somebody else who really needed it at that point, and you could have avoided being there, but just blew it off. And it seems like as people get sick, all of a sudden they're believing in it again because now they're running to the hospital where they didn't believe it at all. So that's that, and I'm going to thank all the workers in every aspect of society at this point that are doing the right thing and trying to help people through all of this. Just knowing, like the guys that are out on the road, the amount of testing and things that are going on during the course of the tour for everybody involved, because these are big productions. I've got a thing coming up. I guess I can say Kelly Clarkson's has a show, and they've asked me to come on and sit in with the band and be a guest on the show at the end of the month. And the amount of paperwork and stuff. I mean, they're going to have somebody come to my house the day beforehand and test me, have to wear masks, have to show proof of vaccination. I mean, the shows are not messing around with this stuff. One person on that staff getting sick could really be damaging to a show. So, so just think, educate yourself and stuff. But it's really not worth coming on my page and saying, you're spreading disinformation by telling people to get vaccinated and stuff. I mean, you're entitled to that opinion, and you can express it. And not everybody who comes here, I'm not looking, they were kind of acting like the people who come to my page are Lee Sklar sheep. They're just following him. Everybody's an individual, and I'm not telling people to go out. I mean, I'm telling them I think they should do it, but I'm not demanding that they do it or anything like that. You're going to do what you're going to do. But that's it. That's it for today. Tomorrow is the live stream. I just talked to Aaron, and we'll be setting that up. So I'll see all the clubhouse members who can make it. And I look forward to it because it's always a pleasure to catch up on everybody's lives and see what they're up to. That's a nice way to eavesdrop. So take good care. It was nice seeing David and Graham here today, and I'll be back tomorrow. Okay, bye-bye.